Welcome to Arts and Crafts with Luba Carlson. In this episode, we continue working in our art journal, promoting self-calm, relaxation, and trying to focus on the process of making something that brings you joy rather than focusing on the final product. Today, I would like to talk to you a little bit about imperfections. We always try to find things that is just right, that is completely perfect for a situation we're in. Whether we're shopping for a bouquet of flowers for someone, or we're buying maybe a birthday card, or we're looking for, I don't know, let's say to replace the stove. We want the thing to be absolutely perfect, right? But what happens with that is that it puts a whole lot of pressure on us. We are taught from very young age that to be successful, we need to present perfect work. Our test needs to be absolutely perfect to get a 100% on it. We have to, I don't know, probably present ourselves in a perfect way, making sure that our clothes fits right, that it's, within the style, within the fashion and all of that. And it also translates into things that we try to create, especially when we try to work on art. And very often I will talk to people and suggest for them to try and be creative and create something artsy on paper or, any other way. And the response I get is, oh no, not me. I could not even draw a stick figure. Well, it's not about the stick figure. It's about a process of drawing the stick figure. It does not need to be perfect. So we are going to practice something that's called Wabi-Sabi. Wabi-Sabi is a watercolor technique where we will create a bunch of colorful blobs on the paper, and we will see how unexpected things can become beautiful, but they don't still have to be perfect. They don't have to be perfect shapes or perfect colors, but as they come together, they will look beautiful. So for this episode, we're going to need some watercolors. Any colors, any watercolor will do for this kind of exercise. I am using my watercolor, my water brushes. You can use any kind of brush you like. And of course, I have my journal. Now, I don't know if you remember, but my journal pages are regular white cardstock, which is not ideal for watercolor. It'll still work. It still works just fine. It worked in the previous pages as we worked on them. But I also have my little watercolor art journal along. I just want to show you the difference between how color flows on this paper versus that paper. And I will mainly be working in the art journal. But again, I just want you to see the difference, because if you are curious and if you really enjoy watercolor, it might be worthwhile to invest in some sort of watercolor paper for that. So I will be starting with my largest water brush, which is probably about, like every episode I do with this, I'm guessing, I think this is size like 6, maybe 8. Doesn't really matter. It is full of water, and I'm just gonna start adding and creating random blobs. Okay, so I will do that on the watercolor paper, and you see how my dot, my drop, it's just sitting on that. And so as I move it around, it kind of softens the paper a little bit, but it stays on top. It doesn't ruin the paper right away. It doesn't start peeling and becoming a mess. And so I can just go into it and see how the color just moves within that. See how it moved? It kind of went really fast, right? But now I'm going to clean the brush so that I can get some clean water out of it. And I'm going to do the same thing here so that you can compare. So here is the same amount of water, and here I'm putting it in, and the paper starts spilling right away. And you can just see how the paper is soaking all of that water. Now I'm grabbing some of this color and I'm putting it in, and you see that it's also moving, but not as fast as it did on the watercolor paper, not as smooth. See, like it sits more in the spots where I put it. So we should be expecting that as we're working with this. Now I'm gonna make one more here, and then we'll just continue working in the journal. So again, one more pile, and I want to, not pile, I'm sorry, puddle. One more puddle, and I'm just connecting it to the previous one. I'm gonna grab some different color. It really doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. We're just playing. And as I'm putting this color in, you can see things are starting to happen, and the color will start moving more and more in this water. Sometimes also it depends on the colors. Sometimes color moves real well on what you're doing, and sometimes it'll just sit. It depends on the pigment. Some pigments move great, and some pigments just sit, and that's okay. But with this, see, I can tilt it and make the water still flow. If you can see it flowing from the red into the green, and the green is still going into the red. So there is a lot of room, there is a lot of space to work with this. But here it's already dry, which probably is kind of good for our purposes, because we're just gonna make a whole lot of blobs of different colors and see where this takes us. So you just take some spot, put some color on it, maybe even overlap more. The goal is, oh, I forgot to clean my brush. Uh-oh. The goal is to create a lot of colorful connections, okay? And if you're working on something like cardstock, just make sure that you're not rubbing your brush way too hard. Put some color on it and then move along, because it will ruin your paper. Your paper will start looking a little bit funky if we just continue doing that. Let's maybe grab some of this. Oh, Prussian blue is always gorgeous. Look at that. Can maybe put some of it here. Try to, it's very hard, I know it's hard, but try to not to overthink this and just put color on paper. Just put it on there. And I like to take one color and then like apply it into a couple of spots, so that there is a little bit of repetition, a little bit of design, a tiny bit of like back thought about it. So right now I am not putting water on my paper ahead of time. I am just grabbing a whole lot of color and I'm just putting it on the paper. And see, I am not being shy with how much paint I'm grabbing. And I'm making sure that some of this paint is touching my other colors so they can start maybe blending together a little bit. Let's see, clean the brush. Come on, that's too much pink. Clean it. Let's try again. Okay, maybe. I know, I just told you, don't overthink it, and here I am overthinking it. It's kind of, it's a good exercise, even for artists, even for people who do this all the time. Just playing with color, just seeing, oh, what's gonna happen? What will happen if, you know, what if? We never know. Something interesting might happen. Let it flow. How am I doing? My brush is almost empty. I've been using a whole lot of water out of it. So let's do some royal purple, just for the fun of it. Something dark. Okay, I'm gonna refill this brush with a little bit more water. So this is as easy as that. You just open that, and I have my little water bottle. And I'm gonna do this above my rag because I do not want this to spill and make a super big mess. It doesn't take a lot of water to fill this thing in. Don't breathe, right? Somebody, everybody. There we go. Good enough. Okay, here we go. That's ready to go. Always close if you're using like open containers on your work table. Always close if you can. There we go. Let's do this. Emerald green. Ooh. Oh, that's fun. As you're working on this, you probably are kind of noticing colors that you really like a lot. And then if you like something more than something different, you can always try and overlap a little bit, add a little bit more color to the spot. Let's see. Let's maybe I really want to have a little bit more of that brighter blue. I really like that. So let's add a little bit more blue to this combination over here. Maybe. Well, after using blue, make sure your brush is completely clean if you're dropping into yellow, because your yellow will turn green. Well, obviously my brush was not 100% clean, so it kind of turned my yellow into a little bit of green. That's okay. We'll just keep using that and it'll clean it up. Who can say no to bright yellow? I just love bright yellow. There we go. Some brighter color. Even more. Let's do some more of that bright red. I really want brighter red on here. So just keep playing, keep playing, keep playing, keep playing. Don't ask questions like, oh, what if? What if it doesn't work? What if it looks not the way I want it to look? It doesn't matter. What matters is that you took the time for yourself. You sat down with your book and you made something that was fun, hopefully relaxing, and brought you joy. And you did not focus on final result. Let's see, what else can we make? Ooh, this whole paper is so wet. Let's see. I really want to continue with this kind of whole bright goodness. So I think I'm gonna do something to this. This is a little bit too pale for me. What can I do? I think I'll just grab some of this orange and go right over it and just add a little bit more of orange hue to that. Oh, that was, come back. There, just a little bit. That's good. Oh, look at this. So bright. Let's see. Some bright yellow. I do tend to use brighter colors. I like sunny, flowery kind of things better than more muted colors. So you will notice that pretty much everything I make when it comes to this, I tend to pick up colors that are brighter, on the brighter side. Which doesn't mean you can't use more muted colors if that's what you like. You absolutely can, and you should. Okay, let's maybe see. What do you think? I think I want more of this, and I think that was this. I think this was emerald green. Let's see if we can do more. Oh yeah, look at that. More color, less water. I'm trying to do more color, less water so that it dries. Okay, maybe a little bit more here. See how the water kind of made all the color move a little bit, and it's becoming not as bright. It gets a little bit more muted as it's drying. Okay, a little bit more here, I think, and that was Prussian blue. Maybe I should try turquoise instead into that. Just add a little bit. Huh, I don't know why they said it was turquoise, because this is not turquoise, this is blue. Some sort of blue. Oh well. Let's just do that. Help it move. Blobs, blobs, blobs. Okay, and then of course we can go in between the colors where they meet and just put a tiny bit of water in the places that maybe we would like for them to blend a little bit better if we want to do that. But that's pretty much it. Look at that brightness. Look at this color. Oh my goodness. I'm just loving it. Are you thinking, okay, Luba, we made all of this mess. What are we gonna do with this now? Well, the first step is to let this dry, and hopefully it'll start drying. What I did forget to bring is my blow dryer, because I forgot. So we'll just do this. Did you ever have to do like an emergency dry for a project? Because this should close this way. Hold on, I'm just gonna try and, oh, is it closing? I'm closing it the wrong way. Of course I am. There. And we're gonna try and do that. Did you ever try and do that? To see what happens and how fast this dries. Now, if you decided to start doing this on watercolor paper, your best bet is to just allow it air dry naturally. Look at this. Do you see all the things over here and here? The paint did just naturally without me having to move it and tell it where to go. This is like the best stuff, because now we can look at different shapes that were created here organically, and we can turn them into things that we are seeing, or we can just outline those shapes and see what happens. What to use to outline those shapes? Well, we can use probably I would not use regular markers, because they might bleed within your watercolor, but that could create something interesting too. So maybe if you'd like to try that, go for it. I would definitely wait for it to dry completely before putting anything else on here. Sharpies would work wonderfully. Gel pens would work as long as this is dry. They will not be very happy about going onto the paper that's a little bit damp. What else could we use? Posca markers. And of course, you can use, do I have it? Yes, so this is oil. This is oil paint marker. And this is what I used on this page right here, because there's not that many things that we can use to write white on something, to make like nice white marks. And oil-based paint markers, they do pretty good with that. I'm trying to see what I used here. Oh, that was mainly the Sharpie, so it really didn't matter. So here's what I'm inviting you to do. Look at what you have in front of you and start noticing shapes. I cannot help but see this one over here. So I'm just gonna outline it. And I am, if you know me, I'm a big fan of peony flower. I just love peonies. I planted a peony when we moved to Omaha 3 years ago. I planted a new one, and it took 3 years, and it's finally showing some buds. I'm so excited. I can't wait for it to bloom. And I also planted a couple more new ones last year, and they're like teeny tiny babies. They're so not ready to bloom yet, but I'm still so excited to have peonies in my flower garden. And I also have yellow irises, and I don't know if you've seen those before, but they are like somewhere in between, like within these yellows, and they have white centers on their petals. They're so pretty. I just, excuse me for my voice, I get excited for my flowers. So let's see where this shape will take me. Let's just go around your shapes. See what happens. Maybe there's something interesting, maybe there is not. But we can go couple times around. Maybe this could be something. And if you like to maybe have it more like unified all together, maybe use one color, maybe just get black. I'm gonna do this side with my different colors, just do a couple more, and then I'm gonna take black and do this side with black real quick so that you can see the difference, what it is that I'm talking about. Okay, so as we have our little shapes here, if we have time, or rather when we have time, set some time for yourself. Allow yourself to have a minute or 2 or 3 and come into this and start, oh wait, that's another way, and start adding some texture on the inside of your shapes. Like, what I mean is, you can maybe fill in one with things like little swirls and just keep going. This is great exercise to get your mind off of things, especially if you are not the person to sit still, like when you need to relax. This is perfect. This is like easy enough to do it almost without having to think about it, but it is still hard enough so that you really have to pay attention to what you're doing. And it really takes your mind off of whatever's buzzing in your brain at the moment. So you can just keep going and filling this in. And when the whole shape is filled, you can leave it like this, or you can go in between those little circles and just fill in the space with the color, okay? Or we can do the same, but we can use black, and black will really make the color pop. So let's see, what could we, let me just hop right here and just outline. Whoops, that paper was a little bit wet and it poked a hole. That's okay. Like here. So you can really separate all the shades, or just go like more general and like outline all the yellow together, or there is like lighter yellow, darker yellow. You can separate that if you like. But I think when you're using black like this, it really starts looking more like a map a little bit, right? Or, oh, there is another hole. Oh, well, why am I? Oh, it's because I have a tie here. That's why my paper was not flat on the table. My journal tie was right in between. So just follow the shape and go around. To see how this looks very different from the other page, right? And I'm not going to do this whole thing just for the, time's sakes, but let's see, maybe I will, let's do over here, and this one has swirls. Maybe I just want to do something geometric and more straight, so I'm just going to break it up into sections by adding 2 lines drawn together like that, okay? And then each section, I'm gonna break up like into chevron pattern, just kind of zigzag, going up and down like a mountain. Oh, hello, we can break this up, okay? And then I choose one side of the triangle and I fill it in with lines that go parallel to that side, and then I change it and I go this way. And then I go this way again. Okay, and I change, this one was this way. Just alternate, go one side and then the other side. And again, this is easy enough for it to not to be a challenge, but you still have to pay enough attention to stick with it. And you can just continue. And you have this whole page, that's a lot of space to go back, sit back, maybe carry your journal with you if you can. Just carry your journal and a Sharpie pen and just sit down and fill in all of these spaces whenever you have to wait for something or you have a minute. And you will see how your whole inner self will start feeling calmer. I cannot wait to do the next one with you. And I'll see you in the next episode.